use to one of adaptive resilience. This resilience is associated with autonomic states that may lead not only to better mental and physical health, but also to bold, expansive thinking and rewarding social interactions. Metaphorically, professors age out within the university. In professional circles, their peer group starts to disappear due to retirements and health. This change in social interactions marginalizes professors and their narratives become negative. When I was about 50, I started to think about personal transitions within academics. I realized that a passive stance toward what the institution defined as success would lead only to disappointment and frustration as I aged. I started to operationalize what I, personally, needed to accomplish to feel that my journey was successful. I focused on the realization that for me, the translation of my ideas into practice was my personal goal. However, I was ill-prepared to take my research ideas and move them into clinical practice, education, or public awareness. Thus, as an academic, I had structured my narrative to apply the tools that I had and focused on having an opportunity to archive my ideas and methods. I set my personal goals to publish papers that would present an integrative theory and provide the methodology to study the theory. At the time I was contemplating the dimensions of academic success, I developed the initial formulation of the Polyvagal theory. The theory stimulated interest in the clinical world and rapidly gained traction in the study and treatment of trauma. This good fortune supported my personal need to move ideas into practice. During the 25 years since the initial presentation of the theory, I have had the good fortune to have the opportunity to support insightful and talented therapists who have embraced polyvagal theory as a manual outlining the body's responses to safe, danger, and life threat. These bold, passionate, and compassionate therapists have used this information to help their clients organize and make sense of their reactions to danger and life threat. As therapists embraced polyvagal theory, their therapies became polyvagal informed. Deb Dana is one of these special therapists. Her books take the principles of polyvagal theory and provide therapists with the toolkit of therapeutic skills designed to enable the client, and often the therapist, to explore their bodily responses, to become reacquainted with a body that may have become numb. Through her clear and brilliant translation of polyvagal theory into practice, the client is guided to honor both the adaptive numbness that follows severe trauma and vulnerabilities that are experienced when the portals to the nervous system are awakened through cues of safety. Through her exercises, the client is able to experience an unacknowledged intelligence of the nervous system as it initially rejects the validity of cues of safety. This skeptical reaction illustrates the disparity of the personal narrative with the narrative of the body, that is, nervous system. The personal narrative that brings the client into therapy pleads for trusting relationships, while the narrative of the body emphatically screams that it will not be fooled again and will protect the survivor by not trusting that cues are truly well-intentioned cues of safety. In this book, Polyvagal Exercises for Safety and Connection, polyvagal theory becomes a living, felt process that can be shared with clinicians and clients. Deb Dana provides exercises that systematically unwrap the adaptive layers of neural regulation of the autonomic nervous system that shift, and at times distort, our perspective of events and others. Through these exercises, we shift autonomic state and start to have an understanding that the personal narrative is not a documentary of events, but a documentary of feelings. This does not minimize the importance of events, but it emphasizes the importance of feelings in distorting, amplifying, or buffering the impact of events. It is through Deb's creative and compassionate vision and the welcoming, expanding family of polyvagal-informed therapists that polyvagal theory is being translated and embedded into tools that are transforming the practice of trauma-informed therapies. As a witness of this process, I am humbled by the impact that a vision of understanding our revolutionary heritage can, in the hands of Deb Dana and other gifted therapists, have on reducing the burden of personal pain and suffering that survivors of trauma have experienced. I am looking forward to Deb's continued brilliant insights in translating the principles of polyvagal theory into an accessible language.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.